you what though, boy oh boy. Oh man! The thrower blanket over them. But it's battle stations, white flag comes out. She's on for young and old this one.
Has he got the job done? Looks like he has on the inside.
The pace is electric out in front.
I could too, but I probably still wouldn't sink with the
I'd much rather watch stock car racing though. Hey, I think we're live with our stream now, so a big welcome along to Ampro Tools Woodford Glen, to all you people out in the world of the World Wide Web, out of the internet land. I know there's people streaming this from the other side of the world, from the UK, so we'll say a big Ebargum welcome along, lads, to you. There's people streaming from Australia.
He was chewing a pie, wasn't he, Ivan?
There's people streaming from Australia, and I gather there's someone from China who regularly calls in for the streams as
That's
well.
not a spy bot.
So, well, who knows? But look, you know, if you could get stock car or super stock racing organised in China, I'm absolutely sure, you know, we could send a team over to help, and it would all be a terrific lot of fun. So. Work on it.
Yeah, as we look at it, we'll go through the groups so you know who they are. We're going to grid them all up. So the front row looks like it's going to consist of 22 Greymouth. It is going to be Brandon Schumacher, the 88 there beside him in the black flat chassis, Kieran Teague, Chris Wildley in the 53, Topolino 116 of Anthony Graham, 59C Mad Brad Rosewarne in the Suck It Up machine, Craig Robb in the 911 car beside him. We will wait for the rest of the field. This is going to be a big field, as Mike Herbert in the 52G joins in the fourth row on the outside. The 29 car there of James Clark right behind him, and Kylie Simon the 229. We wait for some rest of the pack to join in on this inside line. It is Dion Mooney. And we've told a lot of the young fellas around the class that you've got to stop him if you're going to have some fun. It's interesting to see how if they're gullible. The 19C car there of Scott Anderson Fish joins in, Brittany Carpenter in the 85, and Daniel Cox the 9C straight behind her. And it looks like the 89 car of Blair Lockett joining in. We've got a bit of a gap there. The 161 car. That machine, I heard a little story that this is Brendan Marlia's machine, that it was parked up for a couple of years and they expressly bought it out of retirement just to do the series.
Oh wow, okay.
So a lot of effort's gone into that. Behind him it is 16C Cody Wilson. Watch him, race fans. He has a bad habit of not turning when he gets to corners. We've got to let him go around and get a bit of track packing in, as it looks like Mark Taylor in the 84D car's having a little issue and won't grid up. 218 of Terry Leverage Watkins, getting confused with his brother, and the 17C of Vaughan Fairburn beside him. They go and do a quick lap. Car 84 just crossing the start-finish line now. The 84C car there, Kane Holton picking up a new lap record here last meeting. Now, interesting, he didn't just break the lap record, he shattered it 0.3 of a second. That is moonbeams from where the lap record was here at Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway.
So keep an eye on that green 84 car. That's definitely one to watch, particularly from near the back. Of course, we also need to point out why all these guys are here too, aren't they? I mean, this is the Rees Farewell Tour. Peter Rees, legend of stock car racing in New Zealand, he's hanging up the stock car boots. He's still going to keep racing the super stock, but this is his last time racing a stock car, isn't it?
I don't think, if you have never prepared a race car, I don't think you understand the level of commitment and hours that goes into one car, but let alone racing two cars and then having a son that's doing the same thing. There has to be a point where you go, I've got a business to run, I've got a race. And so Peter's hanging up the stock car boots at this point.
That'll be the red band gum boots, wouldn't it?
There will be the red bands. And interestingly enough, even Jacob Brownlee's bought brand new red bands for the trip down south and had to get someone to scuff his toes because they looked a bit new. But I say that as we...
I must have been surprised over the years that he hadn't been sponsored by Red Band. Well, maybe he did, I don't know, over the years. But anyway, no, look, big thank you big ups to Peter Rees. I know he's probably in the pits getting his car ready for the next heat of these guys, but it's going to be just fantastic to see him on the track in this grade one last time. It
is. Of course, he won the New Zealand title here when we had the title, and he won it in such a way that he didn't actually realise he'd won it. I remember the interview I did with him on the infield, and the first words that came out of his mouth were, well, I better not say the exact words that came out, but followed by, really? He just showed utter class when he won that New Zealand title here, and that's an element of his career. You don't win as many New Zealand titles, I think it's 5 in stock cars, as he has without having that ability. We get to see him out here later tonight as we finally go to re-grid the stock cars. And
we must also thank Waterproofing Systems New Zealand Limited for bringing this Rees Tour, the main sponsor for this Rees Tour, and helping them out and do this circuit. Because without sponsors like that, a group of guys like this can't travel one length of the country to the other. So
it's expensive. It's expensive business. It's expensive running a speedway. That's why we have a great sponsor in the form of Ampro Professional Tools.
Yeah.
It's why we have Suck It Up and Malcolm Nata and his fleet of trucks helping us to run the racing here. And as you say, Waterproofing Systems, what a great job they've done bringing this tour to the South Island.
As we grid the final cars in, we have the push car lined up there. Schumacher and Teague on the front row, back to Wildley and Graham. It is going to be all on for young and old. Please stand back from the fences. We are looking forward to seeing how this plays out the next few laps. We are waiting on the very last car to join in. 24 of Stu Sowry. We've got the flag, we wait, we're in the starter's hands. And racing, we're away with Schumacher and Teague. Graham goes to the outside, Craig Robb looks up the inside here. They're pushing and shoving into turn 1. Rosewarne's on the back of Wildly. We head through, the pack goes in, a few clouds of dust. Whoever got there, Herbert runs out wide, collects the ball. We've got a couple of cars running that wall. Fairburn gives Herbert, and there was 77 of Pens flicked around down the back straight. They head past the Valley Cars Warehouse grandstand. One lap completed. Teague is in the lead. Back to Wildly, Schumacher, Anderson, Lockett, Rosewarne. We look to the far end. It is chaos at the Kaiapoi end of the track, but it is Teague out in front. We watch the pack through there as Lockett goes up the inside of Anderson, pushes him wide. Rosewarne stuck to the inside, and you'll see the speed of the 59. We head down the front straight as Rosewarne's moved into that third spot, holding Lockett up wide. Right on the back of Wildly, we have the 116 of Graham parked into the wall just past the start-finish line. As Rosewarne down the back straight moves into the lead, we go to the red.
That will be for the 116 car, stuck on the front straight there, just getting a push.
As he was pounding that steering wheel, not happy at all, it wouldn't fire up. Anthony Graham, one of the crowd entertainers here, joined on the infield there by the 27i car, or joining the 27i car of Peter Knight on the infield also.
And this first race, of course, brought to us by Mr. Whippy. If you're feeling a bit hungry, pop over and see Mr. or Mrs. Whippy, depending on who's running the van over on the back straight tonight.
So just watching the...
like in this replay thing, we can see the that total chaos on turn 4 on that first lap.
Yeah, it was there. Freer there into the side of Craig Robb, pushed him for most of the way around turns 3 and 4. Of course, that's the Enviro waste end of the track, as the tow truck just goes in there to pick up Brittany Carpenter. Get everybody clear so we can go racing.
So our race leader at the moment is Teague in the 88 car.
He is at turn 4, the entrance, or Enviro waste as we call it, behind him. The ELS is picking up Chris Wildly, but we know that it's Brad Rosewarne visually.
Yeah.
Hello, Teague has indicated he wants a push start, or he's going to the infield.
Well, that's the end of that.
Well, not the ideal way to start your first race of the night, especially when you're the leader.
So that would tend to suggest that Brad Rosewarne and Chris Wildey in turn 4 there are the first and second cars now.
Just watching the Burger King replay there as the 84 and 911 had a battle. We are away and racing again as we look across the start-finish line. It is Brad Rosewarne who's taken over the lead. The rest of the pack very spread out around the track, but it's Rosewarne back to Wildey. Lockett's there. Lockett's looking underneath Wildey. There's a little bit of a pushing and shoving in that back end of the pack. Battle there between Holton and Lovell as Rosewarne tries a different line down at turn 4, and we see the Wildey car backed into the wall. He's hooking reverse and getting down the back straight. He's trying to find a clear bit of track as Oldham getting through there right behind Lovell. There's a wee bit of a pack there And Wildy parked on the front straight. He's going to take a deep breath as everybody zooms past him. He's got that clear bit of track. It's cost him a best part of a lap though, as Rosewarne will come through and pick up. Once again we head around, so it's Mooney moving into second spot at the moment, followed by Anderson in the 19, and the 53 car given a bit of a hurry up by Liam Mooney exiting the corner. As we are just heading through Enviro Waste with our race leader. Mooney runs out wide. He collected Peter Knight and he's took the wall with him as well as he heads down the front straight. Down the back straight there we've got Freer having looks like a bit of space. The Schumacher just dates the back of the 16 car at Enviro Waste, tries to push him out wide. Fairly good wallop there but onto the 16C car, and you'll see a bit of entertainment around that machine. And the 7H car hooks on the back of him as well. As we look for our race leader, Rosewarne. He is coming through turn 2 at the moment. The balance of the pack with the likes of Sowry down at Enviro Waste. Very spread out, Tony, but broken up with the racing at the moment.
Cars all around the track at the moment, but it's still Rosewarne, and the 59 car's got the lead.
Just sensing that some of these drivers, the likes of Schumacher, the likes of Wilson, just got a little bit of niggle into it, so they might start to play shortly. We saw Schumacher on the back of Wilson, and they are getting very close to each other. Bit of a pile up with Sowry and Holtham out of 4. And our race leader, he's caught in the middle of the pack here. You can see him right behind Penn. He's trying to barge his way through. Herbert's there as well. Herbert's all crossed up, trying to get to that pole line. As the 78 car there, all loopy-loops down at turn 1. Went for the big swing. Rosewarne's just threading his way through here. He's going to come up through Schumacher, get past Holtham. And Lockett's there as well. Bit of a shoot of a flame out the exhaust of the 89 car. He has given it what he can at the moment, but the 59C car just in a league of his own on his home track. Up underneath the 77 of Penn, gave him a little tap. Penn's having a look back at him, he sticks the nose back under it. Rosewarne's running for the lead. He doesn't want to get caught in someone else's battle. But it is important. As Penn tries to give it the big move up at Enviro Waste, slides up, Rosewarne just gives him the track position. Look to the LS, Mooney still running second. Anderson, white flag out for Rosewarne. We still have the 78 car parked up at turn 1, but Rosewarne, he's let Lockett go through. Now, he is quite a wee way back on Rosewarne, so it's no disadvantage to let him go. He lets him through into Enviro Waste. You see the suck it up machine head round there for the final lap. And big wallop on the back of the 89 car. Takes a bit of concrete dust. Checkered flag goes for Rosewarne. Mooney will cross for second. And it looks like the 9C of Cox, will finish there for third.
Well, so that's really good racing for the local hero, Brad Rosewarne. He's got the reputation of being quick and aggressive, and he was both of those things in that first race. Pretty hard for these guys, I think, to pick the right setup for the track. Lap times there, quickest laps were in the low 21s, a 21.20 by Mooney, a 21.27 by Symes in the 229 car. Those were the quickest laps out there. I suspect these guys could have gone just a little quicker if they'd been racing 3 or 4 races up tonight instead of first up. They'd have been able to pick the setup a little better, but they'll be happy with that. Everyone's got through. There's a few cars on the infield, but no major damage, nothing that can't be sorted out in the pits afterwards, and I would say that's a pretty good result for the Rees Race Cars group and the Waterproofing Systems group.
Interesting to note that we called it as Rosewarne. Now Rosewarne pulled in, Lockett's actually going around with the checkered flag, so I think we've had an ELS failing on that one. And also the ELS has corrected itself, putting Scott Anderson in the 19C back into third spot.
Yep.
So actually that'll be fourth spot now. But yes, the 89 car there.
89 has the checkered flag. The ELS has Brad Rosewarne as the winner from Mooney, Anderson, Cox and Symes, but it looks as though, 89. Possibly 89 had a transponder problem, and they've got him down as 20th on the electronics. So 2 laps down. But
had a wee hemorrhage.
So there you go. That was brought to us by Mr. Whippy. Next up, we're going to have the Youth Mini Stocks Heat 1, brought to us by Smith's Hire. Mini Stocks, we got a list of those guys there, Jared.
We certainly do. This is their first heat tonight, brought to us courtesy of Smith's Hire. Front row of the grid, it consists of Lily Anderton there in the 15D car and Cameron Sittaway in the 18C. This is probably the biggest field of youth mini stocks we've had here at Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway this season. A lot of out-of-town visitors amongst the pack. We will go racing as the push car goes to the infield. We've got the green and we're away. And the 11C of Jordan Paratene goes out wide by Cam Sidaway, ducked out to block him out as the 98D car of Kahu Agnew ducks up the inside. And most of these competitors are second and third generation competitors as we watch them head past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand into Enviro Waste. One lap down, we all watch that start-finish line. The battle is on between Anderton and Sidaway. Sidaway's got a better run down the outside as we head into turn one. We go back to Paratene with Agnew, and following them is Cody Finch, back to the 85 of Tom Cooper. The 13 car of Cody Ogle looking up the inside of the 59 as we head through Enviro Waste. As we look through, our leader is the 18 car of Sidaway, opened up a very good lead. The 15 car there just dropping back into the pack. Paratene in the 11C Stoneley machine. Don't know if he's got the power because Cam Sidaway has just got the head down, the ears pinned back, and he's running away with this as we watch the battle there. A little bit of contact here between Hearn and Anderton. No surprises there. Look at the surnames. You'll figure out the family relationships as we watch our race leader Hearn there right through on the back of the 71 car, chasing them through turns 1 and 2. Out in front, Sidaway back to Paratene. The 18 car of Finch making the move up the inside of Agnew. Cooper's there as well. Cooper's right on the back. And Agnew swings across the track and clips Cooper. Cooper's turned right on him as they go down the straight. Boy, these boys have got futures in contact raids.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Cooper there washes out wide. Agnew sweeps on through. Well, we can wave goodbye to Cam Sidaway. He's gone. The Yukon car, he's out. He's heading off to Burger King for a snack. We look back to Paratene running second. We've got a bit of a freight train down there involving Hearn. Hearn's lost a wheel and it looks like it's lying on the track at the moment. We go red.
So we go red for that, yep. So down at turn 4 there, the officials will zoom on over in the complete tyre and auto car and pick up that stray wheel off the 79 car. These guys racing pretty hard, aren't they? They're not holding back.
No, they're not, and it's very interesting to watch just how aggressive, because of course this is non-intentional contact.
Yeah.
Just how aggressive they are in holding their track position. Of course, there is nothing about holding a race line in this grade, so you can move across the track. And
a few of them have.
Yes, certainly have.
Fair to say. I mean, of course, if you're watching this out there and you're 12 to 16 years old, this is a grade you can get involved in. Lots of tracks around New Zealand are running youth mini stocks these days, and it's the future of the sport. It really is.
Well, he didn't lose the whole. He didn't actually lose the wheel there, Tony. If we're just looking at the Burger King screen we have, the whole strut tower, everything's just shorn off the car. So he must have had a fairly good wallop in the mix to that.
Must have done. So there's the end of that. But yeah, if you want to get involved in Speedway and you're 12 to 16 years old, this is a great grade to get started in. You can probably pick up a car on a trailer for under $5,000, twist Dad's arm for your next birthday, and come and race.
There's a great, and there's I think it's been joked about, but the mini stock syndrome, and you see it through the super stock ranks now, the likes of your Jordan Deeres and your Wards out there. Yep. As we go back racing once again, Sidaway down to Enviro Waste. He has the best part of 100 metres over the 11 car. Agnew running third, and he's got Cooper behind him. Finch giving the 85 car Cooper a little bit of a hurry up through Enviro Waste. And there really is a battle here for this third spot as the 18D car looking up the inside of Agnew. Cooper's right there, he's right on the heels, he's trying to get through. You can see a little bit bouncy mid-corner. Agnew's got the good line, he's carried the momentum, but Finch seems to have the power out of the corner. He's got Cooper, but a thin slice of paper between them, and a little bit of contact there between Agnew and Finch as Cooper straightens up the 18 car for him. The white flag is out for Sidaway. He'll be back in the pits having a Fanta before these next cars come through. As we look, he's got the entire back straight over Paratene and the Stoneley car. As Sidaway out of Enviro Waste, he sees the checker, takes the flag, and the Yukon Diesel Services machine taking away the race win. We watch the Stoneley car, the 11 car, move through with 11D of Finch taking away third. Oh, and Cooper there having a little bit of a battle with the 18 car. I might have got the 18D car and the 11D car confused in the midst of that there, Tony.
I think you did, but it doesn't matter. So the ELS tells us that Cameron Sidaway finished 6.1 seconds ahead of the second place Jordan Lee Paratini, and Agnew came through in third. Quickest lap time looks like a 22.3. No surprises that belonged to Cameron Sidaway. Although, to be fair, Paratini did a 22.8, Finch did a 22.5, Ogle from all the way from Stratford to race in youth mini stocks. Good on that guy. 22.6. So some lap times not too far off Sidaway's there, but Sidaway made the most of that front row start, or near front start, and came away with the win quite happily. So that's our youth mini stocks brought to us by Smith's Hire. Next up on track, we're going to have Super Saloons for their first heat of the Canterbury Super Saloon title, and that'll be brought to us by Mr. Bond. C is Richie Taylor, and then the 76 at Paul Berg is on the infield at the moment. 48 is Gavin Hill, he's been quick this season as well, and on the inside of him he's got the 891, that's the new car of Josh Bolton. It's only 4 or 5 meetings old. It chased a bit of a misfire here the last time he was out at Woodford Glen. They reckon they found it, and they reckon that car is absolutely screaming now.
They absolutely have. We saw it in Dunedin the other night. It had a misfire for 2 races and it was super quick. Got rid of the misfire, it was rocket ship material.
So keep an eye on 891, Josh Bolton. 35, N, all the way from Nelson, that's Mark Carey. Campbell McManaway's there in the 492 car. The 77 is Johnston from Cromwell. Asher Rees is there in the 126. And near the back of the field, we've got Kane Lawson, Malcolm Nartai and Ian Burson. But the green is waving. Brian's got the race underway. And Donald Gregory gets the nose of that 21 car in. Oh, we've got one in the wall. It's Richie Taylor in the 58. A big wall ride for the 58 car there. He's come off turn 2 and he's still racing. Fantastic stuff from Richie Taylor. Looks as though he's got some issues with that car. But 1 lap completed for the 21 of Donald Gregory. And he's got a lead of about 4 car lengths over the 811 of Roger Nees, who's got the 861 of Ricky Bolton making a pass on the outside to take over second place. Fiberglass flying down the front straight there as these cars went through. And there's Donald Gregory turning that car in very sideways very early in turn 1, but it's working for him. He's got about 6 or 7 car lengths over the 861 of Ricky Bolton, but we've gone yellow with Kane Lawson in the 6 car, and is that 95 Owen Dixon there?
It is the
who is both turned around facing the wrong way in the entry to turn 4, what we call a Envirowaste turn.
A lot of damage to the front of that car there, Tony. The whole front bumper's pushed back. The bonnet's only held on by, well, the pins are still there, but the front's pretty ugly. Interesting start there. Kane Lawson just getting going. He looks like he's got front end damage to the right front, so they'll check his steering as he comes up to the start-finish line in the GT Radials Riverlands car. He seems to be happy with it. But Richie Taylor bolted on the start, but it was almost like a throttle jam. He just turned it in and the car just climbed over the back of someone else. Here we go, and he just collects the wall. But this is that whole thing about physics. Once you hit it, or you think you're going to hit it, get on the gas. Interesting to watch all of that. Asher Rees and all of this. Watch where he is in they're going to see the Burger King replay. If you're live streaming at home, watch what Asher Rees does. He manages to thread the needle and pick up about 4 spots out of all this. Richie's on the gas. He shoots down the outside. It's like the back locks up. He climbs over the back of Manera, slaps the wall. Gavin Hill somehow gets through. In the middle of all of this, Asher Rees is doing the bolt up through the middle. So whilst there was chaos, there was a fair bit of success going on as well.
Absolutely. So Owen Dixon pulls to the infield. Big thank you to Burger King for bringing us that replay. I know you can't see it out there in the crowd, but everyone at home watching the stream could have remind you, of course, that the best place to stop on the way home from Speedway is definitely at Burger King.
As Owen Dixon's pulled to the infield, they're just checking the left rear tyre of Kane Lawson. I've got a sneaking suspicion it's actually Kane's birthday tomorrow.
Kane's birthday? Oh,
I'll have to double check on that. It was either today or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow.
Okay. Well, he's gunning it through 1 and 2, and he seems to believe that that car is still perfectly capable of continuing. So it'll be interesting to see where he takes his position. Malcolm Nata, I think, is at the back of the field. Not through any particular choice, that just happens to be where his grid position was. And he hasn't made his move yet. But the front of the field is very definitely Donald Gregory from Roger Nees and Ricky Bolton. And there's a bit of an argument there over who's going to slot into 3rd place, I think. Is it going to be Bolton or Jason Phillips in the 11 car?
It's probably been the saving grace for the likes of Roger Nees here, because Gregory was starting to get a run, he was starting to get into a groove, and he was going to bolt. He'd already got away, got that good start, got some track position, had a lot of clear air in front of him, and of course guys like the Donald Gregory and Richie Taylor and Josh Bolton, Kane Lawson, once they get that fresh air in front of them, they just use all the track, they drive it hard, they open up a nice lead, they get comfortable out in front, they try and pull away from the pack. But now hooked him back on, reeled him back in like he's a giant fish, and he has got the 811 right on his tail. Ricky Bolton's there, and of course you've got the likes, looking back through the pack there, the likes of the 27 of Trevor Elliott just waiting to make that jump.
So they're all back in line, and they're running around the back straight past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand through Enviroways turn. We're green and racing again, and 21 Donald Gregory leads them away. Can Roger Nees hold on to that second place this time? Ricky Bolton looking very racy around the outside of turn 2, takes the pass easily as Nees pulls to the infield. Jason Phillips in 3rd place. We've got Trevor Elliott in the mix there as well, and Asher Rees is part of that as well too. 7D car on is there too, and we go further back, the 891 starting to make some progress as well. Richie Taylor stuck further back behind the 35 of Carey from Nelson, makes that pass very neatly now. Another lap ticked off for Donald Gregory. He's got about 6 or 7 car lengths over Ricky Bolton, who's there rigging the neck in that 861 car. Jason Phillips in the 11, Trevor Elliott in the red 27, and Manera is that in the 88, who's battling there for the 3rd place spot at the moment. All the cars still mobile, still racing pretty hard, even right down back the field. The 21 of Ian Burson starting to make a move now as he's looking to get past the 35 of his clubmate there from Nelson, Mark Carey. He's on his tail, he's got the 492 of McManaway. Kane Lawson's in the back there as well, and I have to say, 77 just in a half spin, but he's gathered it up from the infield, and 19 of Malcolm Nartai near the back there. Look as if he's struggling with that car, hasn't quite got the setup. Not much changed out front though. Donald Gregory still got a lead, building up to about 10 car lengths now. 861, Ricky Bolton, he's there in 2nd place. 27, Trevor Elliott, starting to look ominous, closing the gap on Bolton just a little bit. Jason Phillips dropping back a little bit there in 4th place. Manera's there in 5th, a great run from him, probably the best we've seen him at Woodford Glen this season. Gavin Hill's moved up next place there in the 48 car, and he's got the 126 of Asher Rees hot on his tail. The 891 of Josh Bolton struggling to fend off the 58 of Richie Taylor. You get the feeling the track's coming to Richie's car. So that's 8 laps completed now, and Donald Gregory, he's got a big lead. I don't think anyone's going to reel him in unless there's some mechanical issues with that 21W car. Ricky Bolton in second place. He's got Trevor Elliott closing on him quite fast. Not sure if Elliott's going to have enough laps to make a pass, but he's certainly going to try. We go back to fourth place, and it's a battle between Phillips and Manera, and Hill and Asher Rees tucked in behind them. So another lap completed. Down the back straight goes Donald Gregory, through Enviro Waste. He comes down onto the front straight now. That's 10 laps completed, and he is not making a race of it. Ian Burson running the outside line to good effect. He's got past Simon from Dunedin now. Campbell McManaway trying to make some headway there, but he's boxed in by the 35 of Carey, and that's allowed Lawson to run the outside line and get alongside him, past him in fact. So 21W still leading it, running down the back straight past the Valley Cars Warehouse Grandstand. He's got a huge lead over 861. Ricky Bolton. Trevor Elliott tucked in behind Bolton, waiting for the opportunity to get past. I don't think he's quite got enough car to force the issue, so he's in third at the moment. A big battle there for fourth between Asher Rees and the 11 of Jason Phillips. We've got Gavin Hill sitting there waiting, keeping an eye on those two. Dave Manera just looking a little loose now, and 891 Josh Bolton makes his move up the inside of Manera to join that battle for fourth place. Asher Rees almost getting caught up there on the back of Phillips, and that's allowed Gavin Hill to get alongside up the inside, and the 891 is right in the mix too. Donald Gregory still got plenty of lead though, as he picks up the white flag. Last lap for him. We go back to Ricky Bolton in second place, Trevor Elliott in the Elliott scaffolding car in third, Jason Phillips hanging on to fourth but under terrific pressure from the 1-2-6 of Asher Rees. Gavin Hill's just waiting for those two guys to trip over each other, and Josh Bolton, all he can do is watch from the back. Asher Rees has a poke up the inside, forces Phillips wide and takes the place. The race is finished, and Donald Gregory takes it easily, you'd have to say. Ricky Bolton in second place, Trevor Elliott in third, then Asher Rees just got ahead of Jason Phillips on the line there.
That was an outstanding race there by Donald Gregory, but the man of the match in that one, my mind, Asher Rees. He came through, aggressive passing, but clean, awesome racing. I think he's been watching some of these American drivers and just how they do that. They dive up, they commit, and if you want it, you're going to have to run into me. And he committed himself to some passes there. That particular one on Jason Phillips at the end there, it was Jason Phillips who decided not to wreck the gear on that one. But that was a pretty awesome Super Saloon racing there, Tony.
Absolutely, Jared. Fantastic stuff from our Super Saloons. They never fail to turn it on here at Woodford Glen. It's a great surface for these guys. Just have a quick look at the lap times there. 17.3 for Donald Gregory. A lot of cars running a 17.5, 17.8 sort of time frame there. In fact, all right down to 12th, 13th place. Even 14th place, Malcolm Nartai with a 17.4. You know, most of the guys well under the 18-second mark there. Those are good lap times here to Ampro Tools Woodford Glen.
Basically, these stock cars are Category 2 stock cars, which is up to pre-85. The Category 1 is the old big-bodied V8s and those sorts of things, but this is chassis up to 85, and then there's a third category, which is your space frame stuff. That's New Zealand Champ, that type of thing. So this is the one we're growing at the moment, and we'll just see how they go tonight. We've got 10 of them here on display. So, yeah, we've had a run down the south further with into the Cargill and Dunedin and over at Greymouth. So, a bit of a tour with Peter Rees, and it's been really good.
So if I go back in the history books here at Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway, we had a guy by the name of Terry McBride racing stock cars years ago, and I saw some photos, and his car was this 41S down in front. Now, you know a little bit about this car, don't you?
Yeah, well, I built the car in 82, and I built other cars and had other cars built, but yeah, it's got it back and restored it to where it is.
As we head away with the racing here, there's a wee bit of a wet track for the drivers. You can hear the wheel spin, but listen to that roar. These cars have these pure big V8, or the nice little V8s in them too, don't they, Paul?
There's a variation of V8s and 6-cylinder cars, and there's an old Hemi Valiant or two in there, so yeah, that 6P is quite a quick little car. It's an ex-Dave Evans car.
And some of us from the locals here at Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway will remember this car because it wasn't that many years ago. It was racing here as part of the stock car grade.
Yeah,
7 or 8 years ago it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Here.
And Charlie bought it and restored it back to what it is in association with Dave Evans, and it's basically exactly to a T to how it was when Dave actually ran it, because it's got the same engine equipment in there, and it's a smooth handling car, and it just ticks away really nice. And where there's a wet track, it just flies above the rest.
Do you mean just like this right now?
Yeah, dead right.
It's but no, he's got a little bit crossed up in the tank there, just coming around the outside the tank of Murray Goulding. Now that's an awesome bit of machinery. It's I did enjoy having a look at the big steering rod.
32's bought his car down from Nelson, and yeah, he actually was telling us he bought that car when he's 12 years of age because he loves stock cars so much, and he still has it, and he loves just driving it. So yeah, it's all fun.
So a little bit of contact there between the 6P and the 15P cars there of Malcolm Clawson and Charlie Harper. Now, what did you refer to that to me when I was talking about it in the pits before? Was it enthusiastic display or something?
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be a spirited demonstration, but it looks like one got out of shape and took the other one with him. So yeah, they're all sort of doing their own thing. We've got the Paul Moore car there. He's come all the way from Auckland to do this tour, and Tom just loves the sporting side of things.
As we just watched them heading around there, the 15P car right behind the very bright 19 machine there, the Valiant powered flat chassis. But your old car there seems to be making all the right noises as it heads across the start-finish line there, Paul.
Yeah, it's it goes better on a track that's not wet, of course, but yeah, it's the way it's always been. But that 1P is a sloper Valiant, and this is his track because the 6-packs just don't have that much power, and they put it all on the track and handle really well.
And of course, all of these cars do have an interesting history, and the owners keep track of the history too, don't they? There's photo boards with the cars down the pits, and these guys are really passionate about these machines.
Yep, definitely. Looks like the tank's stalled over there. Oh, no, he's away. Yeah, I've got to catch up with Terry McBride too. I owe him a bottle of rum for getting some bits for the car for me, so he's out there somewhere.
I know he's here tonight.
If he's out there somewhere, come and see us at the car. It'd be very nice.
As we just watch these classic cars go around. So if you're sitting at home and you drive past a paddock each day and you see something that looks like might have once been a stock car, there's going to be someone out there that has a passion for it or wants to rebuild it, isn't there? There's going to be someone that you can that would just love to get a hold of these old cars.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a look around, and people have told us about cars that are down here, but Murray Goulding and his boys live in Blenheim, and they've got the tank and the yellow A30 body car, and they've also got a couple of other cars up there, but they're going to work through restoring them. And yeah, with Rob over in Nelson, we hope to come down to Nelson for Labour Weekend for their 50th anniversary. Hope to have 15 of these cars there, so that'll be just awesome.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that we had an old classic that was lying around Woodford Glen here, the old Mayflower, that I believe has gone to the Gouldings to be restored.
Yeah, Murray's picked that up, and he rang me and said he had it. And I said, I've got a picture of that car, and he says, you wouldn't. And I had a picture of. There's not many people that put a Mayflower body on a stock car, so one in New Zealand.
To his win in that first race for the Battle of the Stocks. So, Jared, next up we've got our saloon. Saloons have been a big success story here for us at Woodford Glen. If you didn't catch the New Zealand Saloon title here earlier in the season, it was streamed out by the Pits TV just as they're streaming tonight. I know there's lots of people around New Zealand watching Woodford Glen tonight, and welcome along to all of you. Saloons have been an absolute success story, haven't they, for us this season?
They certainly have been. Of course, it's one of those grades we weren't sure whether it was going to take or fly, but it seems to have been grasped by both hands of the drivers, and we are fully in with these cars as we wait for the green. Dougal McClimate, Billy Lee Woodhouse, Willie Woodhouse tucks down the outside of the 71 car, just like nothing was there. Bolting is the 71 car, the Canterbury Roundwood machine of Willie Woodhouse. Dougal McClimate, and what I would argue is the best looking saloon in New Zealand, and I'm not even a Ford fan. Levy in the 45 car there, dives in quick, gets a little out of shape. Shouting in the 12 car, looks up the inside, and the one inside of Ryan Marsden. I was going to say he was muscling his way through, but it was like everybody had the speed wobbles heading down the front straight as the 464 of Scott gets pushed out, spat out the back of the pack. It is out in front, Willie Woodhouse back to Dougal McClimate, Billy Lee Woodhouse in the 117 car, Arjun Shoughton or Worth, the Heartland Potato Chips car of Ryan Marsden going for the big lurch around the outside there. Matt Peterson, the 433 car, looking to the outside of the 5, but the 72 car of Shoughton's got through there, looks comfortable out the front. Whereas we watch the Canterbury Roundwood machine, the tiny rod, the 71 Corvette, just disappearing, and in fact he is significantly faster than the cars behind him, but the fastest car on the track according to the ELS at the moment, it is the 1NZ of Ryan Marsden, and if he's still driving it, it means that's still for sale, so to run down and grab you with your checkbook after the meeting. This car is a rocket ship, and he's got through on Billy Lee Woodhouse, who's really come to grasp with the 117 Commodore this year. As we head through Enviro Waste, Ryan is just hunting down that 10C car. Willie Woodhouse just head down, knows how to make the best of these great starts. As one and to the outside of McClimate, as we watch the two big Fords, generations apart in body styling, but both immaculately presented cars as they head down the front straight. Marsden backs out of it. He's going to sit on that high line. He'll own this high line, but that 10C car, when he flicks the tail out, becomes very, very big. Watch the battle here. Marsden on the outside. He gets on the brake early, ducks to the inside. He might have faked Dougal out on this one. No, he's going to go back at the outside. The battle is for second. First, that's gone. He's done and dusted. Arjun Shoughton there in the 12 car. He's looking to pick up that third spot from Billy Lee Woodhouse, and his brother in the 72 car is joining in for a bit of a battle. Jackson Lovelady just crossing the start-finish line in the 17T car. As we watch Willie Woodhouse disappear. Marsden all over the back of McClimate. Now Marsden's one of these guys who will use patience. It's the cheapest tool in the toolbox, and he waited. Dougal made a little bit of a mistake out of two, and he's dove up the outside. He's given him the track position back, and Billy Woodhouse has come back at Marsden. So Marsden then is slipping back into dropping back a spot. Out in front, our race leader heads through Enviro Waste. He's already been past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand. Here it is, car 71, Willie Woodhouse taking away the race win. The battle for second. It looks like it's going to go to the Flags Tyres on the climate. Billy Woodhouse, Ryan Marsden sitting back there. As they look to the ELS, yes he did. He lost it by 0.0009 of a second to Shout.
So interesting looking at the ELS there, Jared. I don't know if you've caught up with this. 71C is on the ELS is piloted by Mark Osborne. Is that correct? Did we know that we were going to have a driver change there?
No, but it doesn't surprise me. Actually, I don't know if it is. So we'll wait till...
I did see Mark in the pits earlier this evening and said hello to him briefly, so I know he's definitely here at the meeting. If he is, then he's absolutely blitzed the track there and finished nearly 6 seconds ahead of Dougal McClimate in the 10C car in second place. Billy Lee Woodhouse took third from Peter Scout. Ryan Marsden got that 1NZ machine through to 5th place. Arjun Scout 6th, Danny Knight 7th, Matt Peterson 8th, Craig Levy 9th, and Scott Woodhouse in the 7 car rounded out the top 10. Quickest lap was a 17.43 by Ryan Marsden in the middle of that race, although the 71 car, whether it was Willie Woodhouse or Mark Osborne, did a 17.67, so that's pretty quick as well. So that's our saloons, brought to us by, as he says, trying to find the sponsors list for tonight, Kiwi Auto Spares, the good guys down at Kiwi Auto Spares, always looking after Woodford Glen, and they brought us that saloon race. Next up will be race 7 on the programme, stock cars, the Rees race cars team versus the TWS team, Total Welding Services Hamilton.
Of course, you'll get to see them race a couple of times tonight as the groups rotate, and then tomorrow night we head through to the final. Front row of the grid, it is Jason Lovell. He did race for Canterbury at one point, and Sinead McNally. We are away and racing. Everybody gets the gas up. We head down to turn 1 the first time, and Rondell spits the 218 car to the infield. Everybody gets through the first 2 corners. We look down the back straight, and it looks like Ethan Rees up the inside of Lovell. They slide out wide. Everybody's going in. We've got a couple round there. Oh, we've got one over, and it looks like it might be Cox that's gone over. Kylie Syme underneath him. Penn's in there as well. It looks like Eben Young and Awa Johns went round. And it looks like the 9C cars tipped over in the midst of all of this, so they'll get over there. They'll untangle them.
A couple of cars got a little bit sideways, didn't they? Well, they got half sideways, really, right on the apex of the turn, and the cars scrambling to avoid them. Inevitably, someone gets a bit of contact. They go further round, further in, and eventually over.
As we watch it through, it looks like a battle there. Awa Johns does the big dive up. Eben Young's underneath him. They get in there, cross it all up. Peter Rees sneaks around the outside. Dan Cox just dives in, and he had Kylie Symes pushing him all the way through. Brooks and the 52W car there, basically funneling on.
Hello there.
And not a huge roll, just more of a nuisance factor one.
So that's all courtesy of the Burger King replay. Big thank you to Burger King for bringing us that. Don't forget to stop in and grab yourself a Whopper or 2 on the way home.
In the midst of all that, what we did miss is it looks like that Herbert there having a bit of an incident down the front straight. He was in the back of the front of that shot. You actually see him turning around. The wing looking very second hand on the 9C car. That's only new. That's new about a week ago. So,
Sorry to interrupt, guys. Have we got much of a break?
well,
Yeah, go for it, Ivan.
Yeah, mate. I'm just wandering around down the pits here, checking on damage after that. Asher Rees' car snapped a drive shaft after he came over the start-finish line, and so that's all the damage there. The O'Brien car, bent right front corners, all bent in. The Jamie Hamilton car, they think it's stripped a cam belt, and that car's probably going to be out for the night. They've got to pull the front of the motor off and check that tomorrow. Peter Fields' car, overheating. They think it's an airlock through the system. They're trying to bleed that out at the moment. Chad Ace, they're doing front suspension changes at the moment and repairs on that car.
Cool, thank you very much, Ivan, for giving us the update from the pits there. Obviously, some of the crew's got a fair bit of work to do.
well, if Jamie Hamilton's dropped the cam belt, that is going to be bad, because that'll be bent valve and all sorts of really bad ugliness inside that engine. And that will probably be a motor change tomorrow if that's the case. You won't be rebuilding that overnight.
So don't forget, of course, we do all this again tomorrow, back again for night 2 of the 25th running of the Battle of the Stocks, proudly sponsored by Suck It Up. If you need any excavation, digging, hydro drainage type of work done in Christchurch, Malcolm Naita and his team from Suck It Up, definitely the people to talk to. And also we've got the second night of the Rees Tour finale happening tomorrow night as well. There'll be Super Stocks racing tomorrow night. Peter Rees has got that car here in Christchurch as well.
They do, and they've got the coolest bodies on, but you'll see that tomorrow night, especially if you're streaming it through the Pits TV, or if you're here in the stadium. What better place to be on a Saturday evening? Our race leader, Ethan Rees, back to Sinead McNally level. We lose the 52W car to the infield. Josh Lockett, we are back racing, making sure everybody gets going. Kieran Teague hasn't started. He's sitting on the, he's limping himself across the start, across the pole line. As our race leader heads through Enviro Waste, it is Ethan Rees back to Lovell. McNally's come back under Lovell, and they're having a good battle here for second. Pack mixing it up as Peter Rees coming across the start finish line back to Harris, the 72P of Norman, and Vaughan Fairbairn in the 17C. Very much a race. Stock cars are leaving the bumpers back in the pits for this one. We have the 218 car of Leverage Watkins on the infield. The 67 car rejoins down the back straight, so he's had a bit of a moment. As they, oh, here we go. Mooney's decided to get into it. He takes the 417 GM car to the wall. And that's a one man if you want to play with. Good on you. You deserve it. You do very well to get the best of Dion Mooney. As we all watch Holton, they're having a battle with there. He's into the back of, as big pile up down there at turn 4, into the back of Herbert. Herbert climbed onto the 84 car, backs off it, gets rejoining. Here comes our race leaders. They're going to be right on the back of these cars very, very quickly. Brooks there in the 86 car. As we look down at Enviro Waste, Rondell making his move. He's chasing back. McNally's fallen back into the pack a little. And Mooney is making some moves forward there as well. In the 22 car, he has had a challenging run. Rondell, followed by Wildly down the back straight. Our race leader, it is Ethan Rees through turn 2. He's going to a bit of a hurry up down the back straight as they head past the Golden Cars Warehouse grandstand. The 1NZ, it is quick, very, very quick. Second on the track at the moment. It is Peter Rees. He's got through with Aris behind him. Fairbairn running fourth on the track at the moment. And Mooney closing in quickly. Getting further back through the pack. Everybody's just happy to race it out at the moment. Teague just still sitting there on that inside of the pole line on the front straight there. Rondell, 72 car sitting behind him. Rondell's on the back of McNally, gives her a little bit of a tap. And Kylie Syme joining in here. 229S car right on the back of Rondell. Picked him up very quickly through the corner. Mooney's gone into go slow. Put the warning lights on. This is dangerous. He will have someone on his mind. I don't know who it is, but it's worth watching as Dion Mooney sits on the pole line. He's got a flat right rear tyre. That will not slow him down from what he will have in his mind. If he's having a bad night, you can be rest assured someone's probably going to experience it as well. Our race leader, no, it is Rees. Ethan Rees, back to Peter Rees. Michael Harris. Harris getting a little bit of a tap there from the 417 car Browning. Rondell's going out high by the wall. White flag is out for the leader. As the pack start to feed on through, Ethan Rees past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand, heads down to Enviro Waste. He's got the 84 car of Holton in front of him. A little bit of a pack going on. Carpenter's into the wall with Johns, but our race leader takes the check. It is the Kia winning car of Ethan Rees. Peter Rees coming through for second, and Michael Harris, strange machine for third. And got a little bit colourful there near the end of the race. A few of these drivers quite happy to wall cars and keep away. I really thought something was going to happen around there.
Absolutely, Jared, and Rees full house there, first and second. 1NZ, Ethan Rees taking it away from 11G, Peter Rees in second place. Aris, Vaughan Fairbairn coming through with flying colours there in third and fourth, good for the local drivers. Penn came through in fifth place there in the 77 car, then McNally, Norman, Wildey, Lovell in ninth, and Arwood Johns in the 56 car rounded out the top 10. The winning margin 4.6, nearly 4.7 seconds for Ethan Rees over Peter Rees, and the quickest lap a 20.07 by Ethan Rees early on in that race. But look, how many drivers doing just fractionally slower lap times. 20.2 for Peter Rees, 20.3 for Michael Harris, 20.2 for Vaughan Fairbairn. There's some quick cars out there. We're seeing some of that action on the Burger King replay there, and no shortage of action in this race at all. So that's our stock cars, the second heat of the Rees Farewell Tour. That was brought to us by Suck It Up. And next up, race 8 on the programme is Youth Mini Stocks, brought to us by Brown and Patterson Collision Services. Mini Stock Challenge, great to have these guys here. Let's see who can get to the front of this one.
Ogle on the front row there with Isaac Craig. Isaac Craig literally turned right. That would have been awesome if that was a team's race. He's having a real battle here to straighten the car up. He gets it going though. It is Ogle back to the 71 car of Riley Airthorne, and it looks like Ben Hearn's got that 79 car repaired as they head into Enviro Waste. Track a little bit greasy, but after the first lap, it is Ogle in the lead. Back to Hearn. Almost like you've heard these surnames earlier in the evening. The 58 car there of Ben Smart into the third spot as we watch Ogle run away with it a wee bit, and it does show that once you get a bit of clear air, out you go. Looking back through the pack there, Sidaway starting to make some moves through as we watch the 59 car Pinnell right on the back of the 71. The bit of a gap back to Cooper and the 11E car of Shaden Andrew McCartney. Thank goodness we've got an ELS. We've got 3 11s out there. It's a great number though. As our race leader comes across the start finish line, it is Ogle with Hearn. 58 there of Smart. Nothing's changed at the front there, so we're almost Indian file, but we are racing it. We are trying to make some moves. Looking at the 79 car heading into turn 1 there. 79 of Braden Skur looking for some moves, looking for a gap through on that 21 car of Caleb Shearer, but our race leader still Ogle. Challenge here for second with the 58 car up the inside of Hearn. Hearn defends, drives down deep as Cooper up the inside of the 71 machine pushes them wide. As we head down into Enviro Waste, it is still very much the hands of Ogle. Tell you what, he's going to go back to the pits and give the old man some driving advice just quietly. Yeah. As we go to Hearn, Smart and Pinnell. Pinnell there's got some pressure on from Cooper, but the 11 car there, back marker getting picked up amongst all of that of Ashley Finch. Everybody gets through cleanly on it. Out in front, still Ogle. Just wave goodbye. It seems to be the pattern. You get that fresh air, you disappear. Hearn has opened up a bit of car length on the 58 of Smart. Smart just runs out wide on 2. It's a long way around there, and it looks like the 59 of Pinnell ducks up the inside. Cooper's going to do the same thing here. Shoots up the inside, commits to that move as they head down into Enviro Waste. And the 58T just being spat back a little bit. He's going to have to come back. Real fight's going to be on for that 4th spot. Smart up the inside of Cooper again. You know, if you go wide on this track, it's a wide track, you lose a lot of track position. As Ogle heads to Enviro Waste, he is the race leader. He's about to go through on the Bishop car. Takes the race win. Hearn for second and Pinnell for third.
And as soon as we get some points for the youth mini stocks, we'll give you those before the start of the next heat, their final heat. But a good race win there for Ogle, all the way from Stratford to race a youth mini stock at Woodford Glen. I think that man deserves DB, except he probably can't because he's under 16. But that's a pretty good result.
He's under 18 too, just quietly.
So there you go. Hearn in second place, Pinnell third, Smart fourth, then Cooper fifth. Athorn 6th, Cam Sidaway in 7th place, Jordan Lee Paratani in 8th, Finch in 9th, and Andrew, I've forgotten the last part, from Blenheim in 10th place. Quickest lap was a 22.12 by Cooper in the 85 car, so good result for them, and that's great racing from our youth mini stocks. So Super Saloons are back out on the track for their second tilt at racing tonight, and off the front there we seem to have the 891 of Josh Bolton. I think Josh was just a little bit disappointed with the way he went in that first heat. Missed the setup a little bit, and off the front row here, he definitely wants to make amends. Gavin Hill in the 48C car alongside him. He had a good first heat, made up lots of places. 35N, Mark Carey tucked in behind him there. We haven't seen Shane this season, have we? He's had a season off, I think. But Mark Carey in the mix as well with... who else have we got in there? We're just trying to see what that car is.
There.
Campbell McManaway, yes, they're the Can-Do fishing machine all the way from Invercargill. He's done a lot of racing around New Zealand this season, all around the South Island, all around the North Island as well. Asher Rees in the 126P Suck It Up sponsored car. Now that's Martin Harcourt's old car, isn't it?
Yeah,
is that right?
It certainly is. It's the old 32C car. Asher bought it at the start of the season. It was black for a wee while there. It's gone to that quite a presentable silver car. It does seem to acquire a lot of tyre marks up the side of it though.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
I don't think
Yeah.
it has anything to do with Asher.
No, of course not. Greg Johnson in the 77 car from Cromwell there as well. We got Owen Dixon back out in the 95 car. Malcolm Nartai should be out there somewhere. Yes, he is, right in the middle of the pack. And tucked in behind him, the 6 car of Kane Lawson. Looks as though they've straightened that car out. Have a good look at that Nartai car, that 19 Suck It Up machine. It's got that... how would you describe it? Slightly odd cockpit, which is sort of 2/3 of the...
Ugly's the word, Tony.
Ugly, wow, you said it. 2/3 of the width of the car. Typical Gorge chassis, of course, and it's a sister car to the 58 of Richie Taylor, who's a bit further back. Ian Burson's there in that 21 machine. He's a menacing driver from the middle of the pack. Watch him go in this race. Brian's got the green flag ready. The rest of them are all there or thereabouts. We're green and racing, and it's a drag race off the front, and the 891 gets his nose in front, just in front of Gavin Hill, who tries to come back at him in turn 2, but Josh Bolton's got the legs on Hill there. McManaway's taken over 3rd place. There's Asher Rees working his way through in 4th, dropping back slightly as Carey gets the position ahead of Johnston, and Owen Dixon in the mix as well. Malcolm Nartai on the inside, Asher Rees on the outside. Rees floating that car around the track, just losing it momentarily as he goes down the back straight past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand. Gathers it back up though, and he's still in about 8th or 9th place. Josh Bolton runs a little high on the track there as he goes through 1 and 2, but he's opened up a lead of about 6 or 7 car lengths over Gavin Hill. Asher Rees has pulled that 126 car to the infield, and he rejoins the track there. I don't know what was going on there, but we may find out after the race. Josh Bolton, though, certainly steaming away out front, putting in some very quick laps, 17.2 seconds already. Gavin Hill struggling to stay with him, but he's keeping Mark Carey at bay in 3rd place there. Greg Johnston settled in 4th, and Malcolm Nartai running up the inside. Oh, we've got a collision in turn 4. Owen Dixon involved in that, and is that Manera, the 88 of Dave Manera. His car looks very second-hand at the moment.
To be fair, Manera's car was missing panels going out, and he's still got them now, but they aren't in the same place they started the night in. The front bumper there, right over the left front, and Owen Dixon's car, I'd say he's missing a left front
And
corner.
that'll be the second incident in a couple of laps with Owen Dixon. Asher Rees went over the front of the bonnet coming out of turn 4 down the front straight on that car.
Yeah.
That's why he pulled to the infield and went back out. So,
Right.
I suspect at the end of this we'll see a replay of the incident where Asher Rees got the squeeze, and it was Malcolm Nartai was on the inside. Asher got caught in the middle. Dixon wasn't given any room. No one was given any room, and Asher just climbed over the front wheel of the 95 car. To be fair, you can't really blame either of them. Watching the replay, you'd say it's a racing incident that just wasn't run out of track. But Asher was the one that went airborne, just about climbed into the back of the back of the boss's car, into back in Nartai's car, but somehow managed to regain it. And I'd say that car's probably felt like it's done 10 seasons in Asher's hands as opposed to the many seasons that Marty Harcourt had it.
And in the second incident, Owen Dixon seemed to go around all by himself, though of course he may have had some damage from that earlier incident. Sideways, got caught T-boned by Manera. So a big thanks to Burger King for bringing us that Burger King replay that enabled us to check out those details of the accidents.
and I think we're going to have a wee bit of a break. They've got the pit gates open, so I'm not sure what that's for. I don't see anybody
I'd
moving.
say that
Maybe
someone at a guess if we don't have a tow truck heading up there.
Ambo staff just loitering.
Certainly Asher Rees got huge hang time and did very well to bring the car back and keep it all square as we wait to see what is actually coming out.
Of course, these guys are racing for a championship. It is the Canterbury Super Saloon title, which is pretty much like the South Island title, really. Pretty much all the top guys in the South Island are here. There's one or two missing. Be nice to have Peter Dixon here and maybe a couple of others, but all the rest of them here. And that's the footage on the Burger King replay showing very clearly how Owen Dixon just lost the back of the car going into turn 4 and got well and truly T-boned by Dave Manera.
Have a look if they replay this again. How lucky was Donald Gregory? You watch the 95 car. He's up high and he loses it. Gregory's about 3 cars back, and Dixon's still hard on the gas. Oh, spotted him at the last minute.
Yeah, Manera's gone in very, very hard, but Dixon's lost that pretty much midway through the corner, and I'd say if it's going to take Owen out, I dare say even with it in here, I feel wallop inside there. Manera's hit about where your left knee would be in the car, so he's probably taken a bit of a bump. These cars aren't padded like super stocks or stock cars, so and no disrespect to Owen, but he's not 21 either.
No, he's 95 up.
Yeah, so they'll just take him off gently, get him back into the pits. He can get out of the car in his own speed, and they will look after him. As we watch the Super Saloons head round, Trevor Elliott there just pulling up to find out what's going on. Of course, they are racing for the Canterbury Super Saloon Champs. There's a lot of good gear out there tonight. There's a lot of fast cars. Christchurch has really been a hotbed for Super Saloons the last few years. A lot of brand new cars into the pack, and certainly 1 or 2 drivers getting a few more.
Absolutely. So 3 laps completed according to the ELS, with Josh Bolton, the lead car from Gavin Hill. The 35 in of Mark Carey holding on to a good 3rd place there. I thought he'd put in some good laps. Johnston from Cromwell in 4th, McManaway 5th. Malcolm Nartai had worked his way up to 6th. Owen Dixon, he was in 7th. He won't be taking any further part of this race. Kane Lawson 8th. Ian Burson 9th, and Donald Gregory in 10th. Quickest lap was a 17.28 by Josh Bolton on lap 3. So that 891 machine, they found the miss in that engine, and that's a pretty nearly brand new current season Hypermac machine, isn't it?
It's his 5th meeting out, and it was interesting talking to Josh when they found the mix and the misfire. And to be fair, it was actually Bruce Bolton, that found the misfire. You'd think with all the clever people around the world that the farmer would be the one that would get in and find it, and he did. And it was, as Josh worded it nicely to me, it's the one thing that it possibly couldn't be, and it was. So, and they've managed to rewire what they needed to do.
There's the 58 car of Richie Taylor, which has been fixed up after that incident early on in the first lap, first corner of that first heat, and it's good to see him back out there. Had a mixed season here at Woodford Glen. Richie Taylor this season. He's
easy mistake.
Yeah, made a few changes to that car. It hasn't always got that car going forward. Sometimes it's moved back a little bit, but he seems to have it sorted out now at this end of the season.
Just looking at Manera's car as they're lifting it to the infield, it's a very sorry sight. That whole right corner is just compressed back up into the bulkhead of the car. It just about fit on a mini stock trailer the way it's looking at the moment.
Yeah, it would. I doubt we'll see him out again tonight. Of course, the Super Saloons will be racing again tomorrow night for the second night of the 25th Battle of the Stocks.
Sadly, that's not the worst I've seen one of Manera's cars, actually, after racing here. And he's quite often he has made it out the second night.
So we're back ready to go racing. We're green and we're underway again with Josh Bolton steaming away. He's got the 48 of Gavin Hill right on his tail. A car length back to the 35 of Carey from Nelson. Johnston's there. Someone's got spat out towards the wall. That was McManaway at the 492. And Donald Gregory takes advantage and nips up the inside of him, as does Burson. Cars side by side going through turn 4, and it's all on for young and old, with Josh Bolton fighting off Gavin Hill. We've got one turn round and between 1 and 2. That was 77, Greg Johnston. At the moment, Mark Carey holding on to a rather lonely 3rd place there, and all the action behind him as Malcolm Nartai gets the car very sideways but gathers it up. That allows Gregory from Wellington to get through, and also the 21 of Ian Burson now passed up the inside of Malcolm Nartai as well. So as we come across the start-finish line, 891, Josh Bolton's got it from the 48 of Gavin Hill. Carey is third, then Kane Lawson fourth, Gregory fifth, Burson sixth. Then we go back to Nartai, McManaway, Trevor Elliott moving his way up through the field, and glued to the rear of his car is the 58 of Richie Taylor. So that's 7 laps now for Josh Bolton, and Gavin Hill is not giving up on this fight. It's just a couple of car lengths back, waiting for Bolton to make a mistake. And then they've got pretty much the length of the back straight on the 6 car, Kane Lawson, who's got through. What's happened to Carey? Has he dropped back there? Yes, he has. 811 Roger Nees is pulled to the infield. So out front, Josh Bolton. Couple of car lengths over Gavin Hill. Go back about 12-15 car lengths to the 6 car, Kane Lawson, starting to catch up the back of Hill, but he's got a long way to go. Tucked in behind him is the 21W car, Donald Gregory, and the 21N of Ian Burson. His 21's all over the place at the moment. Mark Carey dropped back there, the 35 car, and he's got Malcolm Nartai right on his tail now too. Poor old Richie Taylor having a moment there as he goes into Enviroways turn, gathers the car up again, but he's lost a couple of places, and he's got Ricky Bolton right on the back of his tail as well. So we come back front side across the start-finish line. 891, Josh Bolton. This race sewn up. I think he just needs to keep doing what he's doing, keep Gavin Hill at bay. Long way back to the 6 car of Kane Lawson. On his tail is the 21 of Donald Gregory, and the 21 of Ian Burson just dropping back slightly now. You can see the front brakes on Burson's car glowing red. I suspect the brake's not quite working as well for him as he would like. Carey is managing to hold off Malcolm Nartai for the time being. Nartai looking pretty racy right on the back of Carey's car there, and Trevor Elliott tucked in behind him. We then go back to McManaway, Ricky Bolton. Further back there we've got Asher Rees in the 126, Simon from Dunedin in the 7 car, Jason Phillips is there too, and Richie Taylor near the back of the field. So white flag in Brian's hand, and he waves it now as Josh Bolton puts a lap on the 77 of Johnson. This is all Josh Bolton's race. Josh coming through now down the back straight past the Bailey Cars Warehouse grandstand. He's got about 6 or 7 car lengths over Gavin Hill, and a car between him and Hill. He takes the checkered flag. Solid race win for Josh Bolton. Gavin Hill, a good second place for him. A long spell of daylight, and then the 6 of Kane Lawson comes through for third. Donald Gregory in fourth, then Burson, Carey, Nartai, Elliott, Bolton, and Asher Rees round out the top 10.
And in the middle of that race, there with Richie Taylor, he down at turn 1, just donut after donut there. He managed to hold on to the car. Many a lesser driver would have lost it and actually brought on the yellow, but something is not right with that 58C tonight. It did not want to go around the corners the way Richie wanted to drive it. And but out the front there, Josh Bolton, that car is class. It is very quick. Just watching the Burger King replay at the moment as McManaway and Nartai had a wee bit of a moment. McManaway moved up on the track and Nartai saw the gap, and unfortunately tyres coming together mid-corner. Both of them managed to regain it, but I think it took a little bit of confidence out of both drivers. Nartai just sort of fell back a couple of spots. Campbell had to sort of fight his way back into the pack.
Bolton was the quickest out there with a 17.28 as his fastest lap. There are a few others under the 18-second mark. Gavin Hill at a 17.7, Mark Carey a 17.6, Nartai a 17.7, and Johnson a 17.7 as well. Quick look at the points, unofficially off the ELS. It would appear that Donald Gregory is in the box seat at the moment with 35 points. Bolton and Hill both on 32. And we go back to Elliott and Ricky Bolton on 29. Those would be your top guys in that Canterbury Super Saloon title at the moment.
Yeah, this wouldn't be ideal to send the Canterbury Champs to Wellington. Bad enough win.
Not a good look, is it?
Just watching once again the Burger King replay, Richie Taylor there just committing to the inside of McManaway. There was no room. He made contact with him and then sent himself into a series of donuts. And the one who got out of this probably the best, Paul Simon, and actually Richie's old car, somehow managed to avoid the 58C car spinning. as we look at the Maneira's car going in, the Kiwi Meister machine looking very, very ill.
So that was the second round of our Canterbury Super Saloon title, brought to us by L&J Carthage. Next up, the classic stock cars, brought to us by Christchurch Glass.
We're down here in pit lane with Josh Bolton, mate. That's a good comeback after a little bit of a miss over the past couple of races.
Yeah, I was happy with that. It's always easy from the front, of course, but it was going pretty good. We had that little bit of a break in the middle. I could adjust a couple of things, but just on that last corner, last lap, something went bang underneath, so I'm not sure either the drive shafts come loose or something, but we'll have a look now and have a look.
Hopefully it's nothing major. We can see you guys behind me, someone actually getting right inside the car there to have a look. You've got a very committed crew, but a good comeback indeed.
Yeah, it'll be good. I mean, we only moved up 4 spots in the first time, which is a bit of we were way too loose for that first race. Thought it was going to have more grunt than the track than what it has. But we're off the back for the last one, so anything can happen. I have to do it all on that one, I guess.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, Josh Bolton, and best of luck for the last one.
Awesome. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you.
That was Billy Hickey down in the pits with Josh Bolton.
It's nice of Josh. He has a tradition when he builds a new cars, and he normally sets fire to them on the track.
Yeah.
Now, he did do that in Dunedin, did that Dunedin last week. He hasn't set fire to this one on the track. And if you go through the history of Josh's last 4 cars,
yeah,
he set fire to them all in the first 3 meetings at some point. So
that's a very unenviable record to have, isn't it?
yeah, well, we thought it was because it was his birthday last Saturday. We all thought it was just like blowing out the candles on the cake.
Some people, in the years to come, some people will remember Josh Bolton for nearly getting the 1NZ in Dunedin. Some people...
Well, he did get it, but it got protested away and caused a runoff.
Some people will remember him for always having the most incredible looking cars, and you will remember him for constantly frying those cars.
Actually, no, I'll remember him for the burnout at my stag do. Well, we wondered where the sarcastic Jared was. We found him in the back.
Yes, he's turned up.
The technology in here hasn't scared me away tonight, not yet. So Murray Golding
We're working on it though.
Yeah, we're trying to. Many have tried, but I still keep coming back. I'm like a boomerang. Murray Golding in the tank. This is an awesome car. And if you do get the chance, race fans, to go and have a look at these machines, this is Super Stocks 30, 40 plus years ago. Actually, it was literally 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It is, you look at these cars, you think, how did the drivers survive?
Yeah.
And that's why most of the old Superstock drivers limp. But you'll figure it out. And look at where we are now. We're running virtually NASCAR engines with specialist race suspension, and these cars started their lives out, well, the guts of these cars started out as road cars at some point. We're away in racing. And let's be fair, Tony, our modern super stocks, they sound nice, but they don't sound this cool.
No, there is a certain note to that exhaust, isn't there, that's quite compelling.
And there's the big old green Ford, the 21 car there of Gary Smith. That is, I believe, an ex-Christchurch car at some point in its life. And I'm kind of scared for the wall, as a few of these cars get up by the wall. I don't know if there's enough concrete in it for some of them as the Murray Golding heads across there. We've got Elvis Rollins in the Nebulite car there. The 71 of Andrew Williams. The tank's gone around there by himself. That is a stellar bit of kit that's heading around. And we've lost one around there. Darren Golding puts himself around. Takes a big deep breath. A little bit of contact there. Rollins was getting up into the side of the 21C, but he puts himself around. A little bit of water. These cars aren't running race tyres. They're not running the big Hoosiers like we're accustomed to. 32 car there of Rob Anglesey going across the start-finish line. He's just stuck down that pole line. He's been watching some of the Super Saloon drivers tonight. It is, of course, a spirited demonstration, as they call it. As Charlie Harper heads down there through Enviro Waste, the big old Dave Evans machine. Now, this car was a stock car here at Ampro Tools at Woodford Glen Speedway not that long ago, and it was running a Valiant engine back then. They've taken it back up north to Levin, given it the full restoration as the 21 car getting all out of shape, and it has literally had the full restoration. It's got the Clifford 6 in it, the big old truck engine that's been respec'd. As we watch these old cars head around, the big old straight pipes, gotta love it out the side. There's no ELSs on them, there's no lap scoring on them. The 41 car, this is actually, we did talk about the 41 car earlier tonight with Paul Ehrlich. This is actually a car that he built, but it did end up here in Christchurch as a stock car. Some people remember it as the flat chassis that Terry McBride used to run as 38C. It's gone back north and had the big surgery to be rebuilt. Definitely had the engine changed, because that is not the engine that it was running as a standard stock, or a stock car as we call them. And now in the hands tonight of Dave Bartholomew. Threads the needle through on the 71 car as the 6P G7 machine leads us around. That's just loving this track. It's almost like it was born to race here. The note off that 41S screaming down the front straight as he heads around down the Christchurch end of the track. And I guess the beautiful thing is you can see the old cars in them. You can see the identities of the Topolinos and the Imps. And it'll be a lot of reminiscing for some of the older drivers and some older Speedway fans sitting in the crowd tonight. White flag has been waved for Charlie Harper as he heads around for the final lap past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand. And whilst it's a demonstration, there's certainly a little bit of competitiveness amongst all these drivers. They'll be loving it. They'll be reliving a few glory days. As the checkered flag is out, 6P brings us home. The 15P of course in there as well. And of course the 41 of Bartholomew. And Tony, I know that you've just done the 50-50 lottery draw behind us.
Yes, I did. So big thank you to Christchurch Glass for bringing us that classic stock car race. And I do have the 50-50 raffle result. So if you bought a ticket in the 50-50, well, the sellers were going around the stadium earlier this evening, or in the pits before the meeting started. If it says meeting number 15 and your ticket number is number 504, meeting 15, ticket number 504, you can go down to the souvenir stand and walk home with, or drive home hopefully, with $1,094. $1,094 for ticket number 504.
And if you did get that 50-50 lottery ticket tonight, come back tomorrow, because I predict with tomorrow's crowd we will be expecting just a little bit of coin in that one. So, of course, what happens with that funds? Well, half of it goes to the Canterbury Crusher stock car team for their plans for next season.
Absolutely. We'll be back in just a minute.
It's going to be a drag race off the front here between the 72 of Shoughton and Marsden. Of course, Shoughton actually, whilst it's not as placing fourth at New Zealand Champs, it is going to be Ford versus Chev. We get the green, we're on the go, and Ryan Marsden just gets the econ to that one into turn one for the first time. Matt Peterson's gone to that outside line. The 68 car at the Camaro of Navan goes out wide. There's not a lot out there. They went looking for drive and they found a big chunk of concrete. Out in front though, it is Marsden, but Shoughton's coming back in the 72. We drop further back to the 5 car of Knight with Scott Woodhouse in the 7 car. Battle going on here between the 10 and the 433. The Monaro versus the Falcon. McClimate, he has got Peterson behind him. Peterson, former 2NZ in the street stocks. Probably feels quite a whole racing saloon some nights. Behind him, Billy Woodhouse. And Willie Woodhouse in the 71 car. Got very, very loose around turns 1 and 2. Causes a bit of a concertina effect.
Mark Osborne in the 71.
Oh, of course, you got to keep remembering that. Is Mark Osborne in it? Because that'll explain why the car's sideways for most of the race. Out in front, though, it is the 1NZ of Marsden. Back to the 72 of Shoughton. Knight comfortably sitting third at the moment. Scott Woodhouse having one, and we've got a spin down there with Navan at turn 2, but he gets himself rejoined. No one's collected him on the way through. And Mark Osborne in the 71 car of Willie Woodhouse, exploring high lines, very sideways entering the corner, but out in front, the 1NZ, the Heartland Potato Chips car of Ryan Marsden, just as a little bit of a moment there setting his line. It's allowed the 72 to catch back up to him. Knight goes through. Battle here as Osborne goes to the outside. Osborne piffs the 71 car in very sideways at turn 1, drives around Dougal McClimate. And to be fair, I think Mark Osborne probably took a big, deep breath there and wondered if the was going to run out of power halfway through the corner. It's definitely not the Super Saloon he's more accustomed to. But he is driving it, literally backing it into the corners. He's going to pick up one of his cars out of the same stable there are Scott Woodhouse very shortly. Ryan Marsden, though, it looks like he's lost his placing back to Shoughton as the 72 car goes through. Bruce Scott there, the 464 car, he is a lap down as Knight will look to pass him shortly, but the battle's on for first. Marsden puts the Mustang in very sideways at Enviro Waste, and Shoughton's just holding that low line, and he seems to be making it work for him beautifully in the 72. As he moves up just a little bit, he knows that Marsden's going to be going to that high line. Of course, Marsden taking away the 1NZ here earlier this season. He's on the outside of the 72 machine, and he's decided, Peter's decided, if you want me, you've got to go around me, and it's a long way around. But Marsden's up to the challenge. He's trying everything. You can see the track is slicked out down low where they'd be more acclimatised to racing. Knight comfortably there in third. No one's going to bother him as we go through, and it will be a checkered flag to the 72 machine, back to the 1NZ of Marsden. Knight will be in for third, and Osborne will be fourth.
Poetry in motion, watching Mark Osborne in turn one there. Doesn't bust off, just keeps his foot up and lets the car slide a little bit. Subtle corrections on the wheel, and it just makes up so much ground. Of course, he tends to lose it back again in 3 and 4. I think he's got the setup very much for turns 1 and 2, but just wonderful to watch. Peter Scout, great result for him there to take that win. 18.7 was his quickest lap. Ryan Marsden at 18.55 and Mark Osborne at 18.93. Those were the only ones to get under the 19-second mark.
A couple of nights, of course. This is the Rees Farewell to Stock Cars Tour. It's not them out of the sport, it's not them not racing super stocks, it's the stock cars that moved away. These two cars that both Ethan and Peter have showed up with in the South Island, brand new cars. I believe they've both been sold before they even left the North Island, so they're down here, and I dare say they might have to do a couple of little repairs to a few to the cars after this tour. It has been an arduous trek.
So this is the Waterproofing Systems New Zealand group versus the TWS group, and it's sponsored by Complete Tyre and Auto.
And we're in the starters' hands. Brad Rosewarne's on pole, all by his little old lonesome. We wait for the green, we're giving away. Rosewarne gets away with it. He's got Peter Rees right behind him. Shane Brooks in the 86 on the inside. Rees goes in and washes out wide, big time. He's going to have to get the slingshot off the back of the corner. Cody Wilson's flicked to the infield in the 16 car out in front. It is Rosewarne, leads us down to Enviro Race. Whoa! Brooks goes in backwards, fires himself into the wall backwards, and we've got a massive pile up. Knight went round, caused huge carnage in there.
Up on top of another one there.
Have we got a couple of them that are all need demounting? No, we're away, still racing. Knight was the cause of that one, and a few guys just got hammered. Shane Brooks, he will be feeling every bump as he backed himself on the wall at turn 3 there. And Rosewarne, he's got a bit of clear air here. He just needs to get something that will go red. So Knight's car is just sparking up off that left rear tyre. And wheelgate blowing open there on Awa John's car. So that's he'll get a red flag for that. Or black flag, sorry. Black flag, red flag. Just blowing the bolt out of the wheelgate on one of the impacts. And it was a couple of these drivers just entering turn 3 or down to Enviro Waste just way too quick for the conditions. Brooks had already gone in and backed himself in. The 521 of Aris had gone round. There'd also been a couple of others had gone round, and it looks like the 24 car actually ploughed into Awa Johns. It was everywhere. It was just carnage. It was mayhem. Try and call it all out, but Brooks backing it into turn 3. That is a very, very fast bit of the track when you go in there.
Yeah, it is. You go in hard. There's the cars having contact there. You can see we're just watching the Burger King replay here up in the commentary box.
Well, the front end is optional on some stock cars. Rosewarne gets away. Knight limping to the infield in the 27i car. Now he loves to. Cody Wilson hadn't started, and he's not in a nice spot right now.
Right at the end of the back straight, right at the end of the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand.
Yeah, it's days like that you just hope the back of your car's really obvious.
Fastest part of the track. Probably one of the fastest parts of any track in New Zealand.
As we go racing once again, Rosewarne's in the lead. Peter Rees running second on the track. You sense there's an opportunity for some of these other cars to get up around them, but even with a bent right front, the 11G is dangerously quick. As the 89 car of Lockett up the inside of Anthony Graham just pushes him wide. and Rees slaps the wall. He did the big move. Craig Robb just got a ringside seat for watching the 11G car just slide through on him and slam the wall. Mark Taylor's there. Now, Mark knows his way around this track. He's very quick in the 84D car, and he will be just hounding Peter Rees at the moment as Craig Robb goes around in front of Ethan Rees. Out in front, though, we are still in the hands of Brad Rosewarne. He's definitely not the quickest car on the track at the moment. That looks like it is Mark Taylor, and he has got through on Peter. Peter Rees right on the heels of Taylor, gives them the hurry up down at Envirowaste. They push and they nudge and they just tap. Taylor's run wide. He tried to carry the momentum, but didn't get the car turned early enough. And as Tony pointed out, even with a bent front, it hasn't slowed Peter Rees down at all. He is still clocking some very good lap times. Out in front, though, it is Brad Rosewarne. 521 of Aris goes to the infield. Looks like something's not too well with him. As Rosewarne picking his way through the field. Peter Rees on the back of Taylor. Gives Taylor the big hurry up. Pushes him offline. This is a drag race. Taylor backs out. He'll drop down and behind Peter. And here we go down to Envirowaste. But no, Mark just decides to race into the corner. Doesn't get into the back of Peter. Ducks up underneath him and gets the pass done. As Ethan Rees musters his way through on Lockett. Lockett looks back. There's Hempworth's gone round. 52W car there's with him as well, Josh Lockett. And the battle's really for second here between Taylor and Rees as they head through Envirowaste. Really battling out lots of position spots, position changes as the two Locketts have a bit of a moment there as they exit Envirowaste. Brad Rosewarne up into the back markers now. He's going to go through on Malia. And look at the exhaust on Malia's car, the 161. We can see it from up here. They're actually glowing hot as he puts himself around. And Rosewarne clocks up another lap. He is 10 laps down, starting lap 11. Taylor's comfortably through. Scott Anderson's been put round. As Taylor looks like he's eating into the Rosewarne lead. Peter Rees might just have conceded to third spot. Peter Rees runs it down into Envirowaste. Flame was just shooting out the exhaust. But it is a white flag out. Final lap. Back market. Schumacher sees Rosewarne coming. Gives them plenty of space. And the 59 car, the CHS machine, goes through into Envirowaste. They've already headed past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand. Taylor's running second on the track. Back to Peter Rees. It is Rosewarne for the win. The 84D car followed by 11G. And we go to the ELS to see Ethan Rees followed by Clark, the 29G machine.
Well done, Brad Rosewarne, another race win there. 20.71 was his quickest lap, but right on his tail was Ethan Rees with the 20.73. The quickest was Clark at the 29G car at 20.52. So that was a pretty fast lap time in that 12-lap race. We go through the field there. Taylor, Rosewarne, Taylor, Rees, Clark, Graham, Young, Rondell, Moore and Schumacher rounding out the top 10. And I believe that Ivan has got some news for us from down in the pits.
Yeah, mate, it's a bit frantic down there, actually. The 971 car of young Jaden Ward, they've done a gearbox. They don't know if they're going to make it for the next heat, but they'll definitely be back tomorrow if they don't. They've got the 126 car up in the air again, looking at the drive shaft. Harley Robb's car, they'll look the same sort of thing. They have drive shaft issues. Andy McCabe's just changing some wheels and tidying some bits and pieces up. They're looking at the 95 car around the engine. They might have struck a wee miss or something there, but they're just looking over the bonnet of that. So hopefully they all get back out, but that's what I can update you at this stage.
Chanel is on 28, as is 18C Cameron Sidaway. Tom Cooper in the 85 car is on 27. Jordan Lee Paratene is on 26. Ben Smart on 25 and Riley Ethorn on 22. Those are your top 7. Keep an eye on Cody Ogle. He's 1 point ahead at the moment.
So Finch and Cooper led us away, but Cooper's got the great start there. See the big wing as it heads around there. A couple of those drivers there washing it wide. Now, of course, this track is so much wider on that outside line, but it is Cooper leading us through Envirowaste. A little bit of a wallop in there on the back of the 11 car. Well, I say, which 11 you say? It's Shade and Andrew McCartney. And,
Run into the wall.
I think was that a driver error or was that a racing incident? And we've got a wet track down there, and everybody wants to.
Well, I have to say, it looked to me like a wind off the end, but
well, we're going to go red.
Hopefully, we'll get a replay. And this is where the Burger King replay really comes into help. But
it's either got to incriminate or incriminate.
I might be wrong. I shouldn't have jumped to that conclusion quite so hastily. But
we waited. Here we go. All sorts of chaos goes on there. And it looks like, oh no, it was a tag and release. It's a fishing competition out there, isn't it? So courtesy of Burger King, we've seen what we think we see, and now we're just going to keep our mouths shut because I'm sure youth mini stocks are far more entertaining when the parents have an opinion about what their little angels did or didn't do. But certainly it was a little bit chaotic mid-pack. Right at the very front, you people down over in front of the cars under 7990 corporate boxes will know exactly what we saw.
Yes.
And if you didn't, you can make it up, because that's what we do if we don't have a replay. So the 18 car has been sent to the infield. Now,
might be called over-aggressive attacking or something.
To be fair, actually, the interesting thing, I wouldn't actually call it like that. But anyway, we get the value of a replay in front of us, courtesy of Burger King. And the one thing I will give them, beautiful shiny wheels on the 18D car there of Cody Finch. Yeah. And as Bryce Penn once said after his car caught fire here at Ambrose Tools Western Speedway, we're going to re-grid. Oh, yeah, we're losing it, race fans. We apologise.
So Youth Mini Stock's back underway again.
It's
Go, Jared.
Yeah.
Younger commentator of the team. Go for it.
I am actually. That's a scary thought. As Smart leads us around. It looks like Smart. Go to the. It is Smart. Hearn running third on the track at the moment, or is it second on the track? The ELS is telling us second, but it'll be third. So the 71N car there running second. Back to Hearn in the 79 car. Paratine 11C there with Agnew in the 98. And we get back into more traditional youth mini stock racing. We are racing it out now. It looks like the grievances have been sorted as we look through and watch the 58T car immaculately presented heading across the start-finish line. Some battles there at the back end of the field there between Ashley Finch and Shaden Andrew McCartney. But our race leader past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand, and he's got quite a lead. He's got 1.6 seconds according to the ELS. We wait for him to head around once again, crossing for another lap, 5 laps down. He's actually picked up his 2-second lead over the 71N car, and he's just opening that up. And it goes to show you just the confidence that these drivers have once they get a bit of fresh air. As Paratine goes up the inside of Hearn, uses the brakes, runs it down into Enviro Waste, picks up that third spot, and looks like he's going to make a move on the 71N. Cam Sidaway there having a bit of a battle there with Lily Anderton. And once again, you can recognise those surnames from other grades as well as Sidaway goes through on Anderton. Paratino up the inside of the 71N car. He's going to use the brakes. He races it down into Enviro Waste. The 71N car out to the wall. White flag is out for Smart. You can just sense that Jordan wants his uncle's race, wants his uncle's Super Saloon, and it's not too far away. As Ben Smart heads down the back straight, it is the 58T car into Enviro Waste. Just a couple of back markers to contend with. And the checkered wave. He will be delighted with that. The 11C, the Stone Lake car of Jordan going through, and the 71 of O'Reilly taking away third. That was our youth mini stocks. And my gut kind of tells me, Tony, that a couple of drivers are going to be busy as their cars get loaded by their parents.
Rees back in action for their final heat of the night. Remember, this is a Canterbury Championship. They've been running the 3-heat Speedway New Zealand format, so everyone has a front, middle and back start, more or less anyway, and this is the final heat. I've got some points here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. This is the points after 2 heats of this championship. Leading at the moment is Donald Gregory on 35 points. Second place, tied, Josh Bolton in the 891 and Gavin Hill. They're both on 32 points, so they're 3 behind Donald Gregory. 3 behind them are Trevor Elliott and Ricky Bolton. They're both on 29. Then we go back to Asher Rees on 26, Ian Burson on 25, Kane Lawson and Jason Phillips on 22, Mark Carey on 21, Malcolm Nartai on 19, Campbell McManaway, Paul Simon, Richie Taylor all on 17. Then we go back to Dave Manero on 14. I suspect he won't be out there tonight in this last race. And Craig Johnson on 10, Roger Nees 6, Owen Dixon 5 and Paul Berg 1. So really it's up to Donald Gregory to take this championship, and is Josh Bolton, Gavin Hill, Trevor Elliott, Ricky Bolton going to let him do that? They've got to make up 3 points at least on him. Bolton and Hill have anyway, and Elliott and Ricky Bolton have got to make up 6 points on Donald Gregory. So let's have a look at the grids as they stand at the moment. Where's Donald Gregory? Near the back. Near the back. So there's some possibilities there, but Josh Bolton's starting behind him, so that's not going to be particularly helpful for his title chase. And where's Gavin Hill? He's right at the back of the field, also starting behind Donald Gregory. So you have to say Donald Gregory is primed to take this championship. If he can keep his nose clean, stay out of trouble, finish near the front, could be his to take away to Wellington. The green waves, we're racing. Kane Lawson off the front with Richie Taylor alongside him. Taylor goes in very sideways into turn 1, running the outside line, gets past Lawson. Lawson content with second place for now. He's got the 21 of Ian Burson right up behind him, who goes into the outside in turn 3. There's a little bit of contact behind them as the cars barrel into Enviro Waste. Malcolm Nartai muscles his way up the inside of Trevor Elliott out of turn 4, and out front there's contact between Taylor and Burson. The lights stay green, the cars stay side by side, it's all on for young and old, folks. Ian Burson gets his nose in front, Richie Taylor on the low line, Burson up high, there's nothing between them as they go across the start-finish line. And then we go back to a gaggle of 4 cars. You can throw the proverbial picnic blanket over them. Malcolm Nartai just in third ahead of Asher Rees, with Kane Lawson and Trevor Elliott tucked right on his bumper as well. A couple of car lengths back to the 861 of Ricky Bolton. Paul Simon is in the mix there too with Jason Phillips. Then we go back to Campbell McManaway, Mark Carey, Donald Gregory struggling a little near the back of the field. He's got Josh Bolton and Gavin Hill right beside him, and then right at the very back we've got the 811 of Roger Nees and the 77 of Johnson. Back up to the front now, and Ian Burson's got the job done. 4 laps completed. He's got a car length or 2 over the 58 of Richie Taylor. 3 or 4 car lengths back to the 19C of Malcolm Nartai, who's got Asher Rees right on his tail and Trevor Elliott right there as well. A few car lengths back to the 6 of Kane Lawson, who's dealing with Ricky Bolton right on his tail, and out wide near the wall, Jason Phillips getting some go forward too. Campbell McManaway making his way up through the field now, trying to get past Paul Simon. He's got Josh Bolton right behind him. Bolton's got ahead of the 21 of Donald Gregory, who seems to be dropping back slightly as the track starts to dust up a little bit and get a little bit slick. Who's got the best slick track setup out of this lot? It's often Richie Taylor, but look at Ian Burson go. He's got about 8 to 10 car lengths now over the 58 of Richie Taylor. Side by side for third place with Trevor Elliott there in the mix with Asher Rees. Malcolm Nartai just dropped off those two very, very slightly, and Elliott just starts to pull ahead into a more comfortable third place. We've got Roger Nees in the 811 pulled to the infield there. But out front, and the lap times are starting to increase now as the track gets a bit dusty, a bit slippery. Ian Burson slowing noticeably, but he's still got a good lead over the 58 of Richie Taylor. Third place there is 27, Trevor Elliott. He's good on this slick track too. Asher Rees making some good progress towards the back of Elliott's car. Has he got what it takes to get past him? I'm not sure in these conditions. So Ian Burson, he's starting to get reeled in a little bit by the 58 of Richie Taylor, but there's still a good gap. Taylor's got to work hard if he's going to have any chance of getting past Burson. 27, Trevor Elliott's tucked in third place, Asher Rees in fourth. At the moment, if the championship finishes this way, it would be Trevor Elliott who would take it away. So keep your eyes on Elliott. He's got to keep that car on the track. It's getting, you can see the black appearing in the turns now as the track slicks up. The black from the rubber of the tyres. And Richie Taylor has got through on Burson. So Richie Taylor takes over the lead from the 21. Trevor Elliott still in a solid third place there. Asher Rees in fourth with Malcolm Nartai tucked in behind him. Very, very close there in the back of the field as Josh Bolton leads a gaggle of cars that includes Jason Phillips, Ricky Bolton and Donald Gregory further back from there. So Richie Taylor taking it very easy, tiptoeing his way around this track, but he's got the lead over Ian Burson. We've got one in the wall here, Jason Phillips on the front straight. Didn't see what happened there, must have misjudged the exit of turn 4, I think. That track getting very, very slippery out there, Jared.
It is, and it's interesting just to watch how Richie Taylor's car has come on. Burson went strong. Let's be fair, he gave Richie the tap and unsettled Richie's car to get past him. Probably the saving grace that the track has gone away and allowed Richie to catch up, because otherwise the officials would have probably had to have redressed that.
Yeah.
So now the race is on. We are 11 laps down. We have a 4-lap sprint. The game changes again. Donald Gregory, no go forward at all. He is just not moving forward, and this will help him, don't get me wrong, but this is not the way you want your race to go, is for cars to fall out.
So not only Jason Phillips, but also Gavin Hill pulled out there as well. Let's have a look. The Burger King replays just come up and we'll be able to see what happened to Phillips. Hey, he just misjudged that exit. I'm not sure if there was contact there. I don't think there was.
No
Didn't look like it.
He just got out,
loose.
Got out into the marbly stuff. He's given it the gas. The right rear slapped the wall and it's just jumped up onto the wall and taken the right front out. Not a lot of damage, just more nuisance value. They'll have parts to put that back together. And yeah, he's just got out wide, tried to run that high line on the outside of Bolton. Or trying to look for an outside line on Bolton rather, and just put himself in. Not big time, but enough to wake you up.
Enough to slow him down and make him stop.
Now, because we are broadcasting to the world, and we're talking out to the race fans here, Jason and Lindley Phillips.
Yep.
27th wedding anniversary tonight.
Oh, there you go.
Not quite the way Jason wanted to celebrate.
He's had a good night though. He's raced pretty well.
Very good night.
That car's been going good for him.
But at 27 years, certainly a milestone in anybody's world. Only been married 2 years longer than the Battle of the Stocks.
There you go. Richie Taylor then is the lead car. We've got 4 laps to go. He's Ian Burson right behind him, and this is going to be an interesting battle. It looked as though Taylor was just the quicker car in those last few laps, but boy oh boy, if anyone's going to have a go, it's going to be a driver like Ian Burson. Yeah, Trevor Elliott's right there, and of course he was quite a few car lengths behind before we had the orange light, so I think he's going to be pretty dangerous from that third position, and Asher Rees looking very, very racy there as he comes down the back straight. So let's see what happens. 4 laps to go, folks, to decide the Canterbury Super Saloon Championship for 2018, and away we go and racing. Burson drifts out wide, and immediately Richie Taylor finds more grip on the inside line, and Trevor Elliott tries to come up the inside of Burson. Taylor's got about 3 or 4 over Burson and Elliott, who are more or less side by side as they go past the Value Cars Warehouse Grandstand. Asher Rees looking for grip on the outside line, not really finding it. A lot of cars tucked down the pole line there. Malcolm Nartai, Kane Lawson, Josh Bolton, they're all down there. That's where one who ventured higher was 492 Campbell McManaway, and he slaps the wall big time in turn 1. So here we go with Richie Taylor out front, keeping it tight down by the pole line, and it's working for him. He's increasing his gap over the 21 of Ian Burson. Elliott trying desperately to get past Burson, not quite got the room up the inside. Asher Rees running high on the track. He just doesn't seem to have it to go forward that these 3 guys have got at the front, and Malcolm Nartai's got ahead of him. White flag this time round for Richie Taylor. He's got that car sorted finally. A bit too late to win the Canterbury title, I think, but he'll be pleased with the race win if he can bring it home. Burson, second place, too far back to do anything now, I think, and Trevor Elliott, he's settled for third. Malcolm Nartai's fourth, then side by side, Kane Lawson and Asher Rees. But here's your double checkered flag for the race winner. Richie Taylor takes it away. Ian Burst second, Trevor Elliott third. Tell us about the times and the points, Jared.
Well, really it comes down to the points here. 46 points. Looks like it's the top of the tree. It is. And it goes to Trevor. And actually, no, tell a lie, Josh Bolton. So in that last couple of laps there, Josh managed to get up past Rees. Great to have the classics back out. Back out there as they all grid up. Off the front is the Illich car in the 21 of Smith. He gave it the big gas, pulled up wide. I actually wanted the 21C car, might have broken itself out of that one. And of course the classics there, been given a bit of a wet track, but they can handle it, they've got a bit of fun. The car of Bartholomew, of course the Illich machine, getting away with this. And that blessed car of Charlie Harper cut through the back, and he's in second now. Now the 41 car of Bartholomew might sound pretty cool, but he's going to get chased down by this Clifford 6. As he drive his head around Angus on that pole line. He's got the 71 there, Andrew Williams tucked in behind. And Paul Ehrlich has just rocked on up into the commentating box. Ooh, a bit greasy out there for them.
Yeah, they normally get a dry run at the last one, but they're all feeling their way through. They seem to be enjoying it all right.
Yeah, well, this is probably for some of these cars, because we have such long straights, probably the fastest a couple of them have gone in a wee while. How are they finding it? Because the brakes in these things aren't going to be like a modern super stock at all, are they?
No, dead right. A lot of them have only got drum brakes on the front and things like that, so they do pack up a bit, but they all seem to be handling it okay, keeping good lines.
So your old car out there is out in front at the moment, but this Clifford 6 behind you of Charlie Harper, it's fair humming tonight.
Yeah, he's found the good line, and that little bit of water they put on is a little bit further outside there, so but it suits all of them.
The tank, they're just running through the infield, going to rejoin on the back straight there. Pulls out in front of Andrew Williams. Yeah, they'll be okay. But hopefully we can, next time we come back, we bring a few more numbers. Just looking at these cars, particularly the likes of the 1P tank there of Goulding, are these cars, like our modern super stocks run the 14 to 1500 kilo weight restriction. Some of these cars look a little bit heavier than that. Are they running through to that 1500 kilos?
Basically, that is the rule, that 14 to 1500. But some of the cars has dispensation because of the fact they are a smidge heavier with age. We all get heavier with age, so the cars can too.
I notice how some of the car windows don't get any bigger for some of these guys to grease up and fall into.
Nah, it's a bit of a struggle to get in them at times.
So it's a good battle here. It is a challenge for the lead.
You can tap him.
Spirited as the 71 car, the 41 car.
You keep him honest.
Probably need to give a bit of a hurry up here by Charlie Harper, and you sense that he's going to do a bit of a.
It's going to make it hard for him.
Get a bit of, as we watch them come out of two, a little bit of force code on the rear bumper of the 41 car, and the tank's going to pull out in front of them.
Oh, here we go.
So it is going to be a bit of a drag race.
Oops, Charlie slipped out there. He got him.
And Bartholomew comes through.
Yeah, a lot of the cars have been upgraded with power steering because as you get older you can't sort of swing on the wheel as much as you used to be able to. So, that's good, and I just hope the crowd have enjoyed this. And the guys obviously were pretty happy after the last race, so it should be all good.
I think it's one of those things. It's great to see the history of the sport being preserved, because speedway cars tend to be like Granddad's X. 4 handles, 6 heads later, it's the same X. Whereas we get a car and we keep modernising them, and then they just disappear. So it's kind of cool to see them in their original state.
Yeah, there's cars being uncovered all the time, and there's one of the old Jester cars from Wellington that's recently been sort of uncovered, and a guy's keen on doing something there, so it would be really nice to hear those old Jags going again. It'd be very expensive to maintain, but there was a lot of stock cars running Jag motors at one time, so it would be good to see that out on the track in a year or so.
That'll be awesome to have it. And of course, certainly down here, it'll be awesome to start to see this start to grow. Obviously, it's had a bit of a following, if not a bit of a cult following in the North Island. You have your Legends Day out at Harrisville or out at Hakia, where you guys get to a bit of a play.
Yes, that's right, and a lot of people come and just have a drive and enjoy what we enjoy, and it's a lot of fun, and that's what we do it for.
And that's the whole point of it. Of course, Speedway is all about family fun, and of course, it is Battle of the Stocks out there. Awesome to watch the classics, but just on your note, Paul, there, what do you think about the super stock racing? It's pretty intense out there tonight.
You got some of the best cars in the country here, and it's hard to watch the whole race unless you're in the corner. You can see a lot of it, but man, it's pretty full on, and it's a young man's lark, and it's when I dropped out of it, your reaction times dropped off, and you knew you couldn't compete with those young guys, and the young guys just go for it. They don't seem to worry. But hey, it's good for the paying public to see that sort of action.
Excellent.
And it looks like it's coming out again.
It certainly is, of course. Thank you for your time up here, Paul.
Absolutely, Paul. Thank you so much for helping us out with your thoughts on the classic stock cars.
Saloons head around for their final race of the night. We have Naven and Scott off the front. Two versions of Camaro as the green is in the air. We wait for the flag to be waved. We are away and racing side by side, and a bit of snap crackle pop in the middle of that. Mark Osborne's in there in the 71 car. Naven washes it wide. Scott ducks to the inside. Shouten's in there. Osborne's on that outside line, and he will look to the outside of the 12C car. Puts it in. Oh, we've got contact. We've got carnage. We have got bumping and bruising, and I think the back end of the 71 car just about got squeezed like a pimple there. But 68 car. Sorry,
it was Naven who went around, and I think pretty much unaided, but then people had difficulty avoiding him.
There is a large chunk of steel on the ground. Oh, that's the whole back end of his car. Right. So you pretty much all the rear bumper and everything hanging off the back of the 67 car, and that was just a compression issue. He's gone in. The car's a little bit loose. Of course, this car that started life out is Martin Halcrow's last Super Saloon.
Right, okay.
Before coming down here and being converted to Saloon Specs as we watch the Burger King replay. He leads us down to a Envirowaste, but just struggling to hold on. You can see me as soon as he turned in, that car was going round. He's gone round. Bruce Scott's seen it. He's tried to get on the brake. Shouten's given him the hurry up. Bruce has gone wide. Osborne's just collected the back. I don't know what the front end of his car's made out of. Even the tyres just ripped the back end out of the 67.
Actually, I have to say, having watched that Burger King replay, it's remarkable that Mark Osborne / Willie Woodhouse's car is still running.
Oh, those tyres look like they were ripped off the bead the way they compressed when they took the back end off the 68 car. As Scott Woodhouse there just pulling up in the 7 car.
So don't forget, on your way home, grab a Burger King, pop into your nearest Burger King and get a Whopper or two. The raspberry churros are good too, but
might even be able to convince Jordan Deere it's the way of the future, as opposed to his
traditional.
We're just getting on the gas. A couple of cars, they're getting a little bit antsy mid-pack, I think. Oh, yeah, Matt Peterson up the inside of the 12 car on the start. He has to redress. He does. Osborne goes wide.
That's how we start them here at Woodford Glen. No messing around.
Oh, that was pretty hairy start. Even an angry dog would have seen that one as a bit hairy. Jackson Lovelady just crossing in front of us, and Osborne up the inside of Scott. Was he? Matt Peterson's ended up on the infield down at Envirowaste. As Osborne slides that car in very sideways. Of course, the driver's gone out of this track. It's black and slick out there at the moment. We go three wide. We think very, very thin as we go down the back straight. And smoke or something. That might just be wheel spin off the 71 car as they went through Envirowaste. Marsden in the forward to the outside, running third on the track, looking to the outside pass on the 4.6 Ford, the complete Tyrant Auto machine of Bruce Scott. He's got the nose in front, but Scotty will be brave under brakes through Envirowaste, and the trick is just to get all that drive into the track. So as
I have to say, this is what I wanted to see.
Osborne.
Mark Osborne in the 71, Ryan Marsden in the 1. This is going to be a good one.
Well, Marsden he's certainly at the top end of his class at the moment. Osborne trialing the 71 car. Of course, this car was built. Whoa, Osborne goes in very sideways into one, just about looking over to see where Marsden is. And I suspect that driving the car just a little bit squarer might work to Marsden's advantage. Of course, the 71 car was built by Mark Osborne's crew chief, so they will have that car set up for exactly the way Mark wants to drive it. And Marsden, he just about had his nose chopped off there by Osborne, and he's just popped the nose of the LRC Mustang, and Osborne moves down across the track. So it is, whilst we're not seeing fiberglass flying, it is very aggressive between these two. Marsden just moving up on the track, but look who is lurking in the background. We've got the Shoughton brothers right behind them. And my gut tells me that Pete's just going to try. He'll get that move in that last lap. He is right there on the battle. And here we go. Osborne just got the tail out. The Mustang pops on through. You can see that they just lost drive in the 71 car. Osborne puts that in sideways, and Marsden, if he just allows the car to move up on the track, doesn't burn the tyres out, he'll pull away from the 71 car. And here comes Shoughton. Gets up underneath, sticks the nose in there, driving that car right on the throttle, not getting any wheel spin, and that is going to be the advantage here for for the likes of Shoughton and Marsden. They don't have the horsepower. They know they can't afford to lose power through wheel spin. Osborne, of course, he's been running 700 plus horsepower all season in the Super Saloon, and when you get into trouble, you just gas it more. You see the Shoughton brothers, they just get down low and just very, very careful on the throttle. Out in front though, the 1NZ, the Heartland potato chip car of Ryan Marsden. He's come through, managed to get through on Osborne, through Envirowaste for the final time. The checkered flag is out. Ryan Marsden takes the win, followed by Peter, then Arjun Shoughton and Mark Osborne in the 71. And Scott Woodhouse comes home just ahead of his niece in the 117.
So pretty fantastic racing there for those top four. Must say that was what I wanted to see. Those are the quick guys here tonight, and they really turned it on. Fastest lap was a 19.72 by Ryan Marsden early on in that race. Peter Scouten did a 19.74, so there's just nothing between them.
So
when you get old like me, you need to lie down halfway through the meeting.
Oh, poor old Tony. There's too many buttons to push up here, too many screens to look at, and half a job to do. Well, that was it. So on pole,
I do that bit very well, half a job.
You're a weather forecaster, mate. You only have to be right half the time. Did I say that out loud? Oh dear. It is the 11C car of Jordan Lee Paratone with the 58T of BedSmart. So Christchurch vs Cromwell. A couple of youth mini stock competitors that are just getting classier and classier as we go on. We go for the start. A little bit of wheel spin there from the 58 car, but the 11 leads us into the corner. Prime track position. You want to get down low on that track. You don't want to open up. If someone's going to go around you, it's a long way around on this track. But Smart does seem to have that drive down the back straight. The 11C leads us through Envirowaste, washes out a bit wide. Smart sitting right behind him. And this is what you want to see, isn't it, Tony? Nice and clean. Absolutely. These guys are running these little mini stocks at their limits.
Yeah, you get that feeling, particularly out of turn 4. There's no margin for error there.
No, of course the track has slicked up a little bit. Well, quite a bit for these cars, and that's kind of ideal for the mini stocks. They have those small tyres. There's a nice hard surface for them to run on.
Jordan Lee seems to have the right lines, doesn't he, to put the power down there. He's opening up that gap over the 58 car.
He certainly is. As they head past the Value Cars Warehouse Grandstand, this is lap 3 of a 4-lap runoff. Just has to keep it smooth. How many times have we seen it where in that last lap someone just gets all out of shape? As Jordan Lee heads around for the final time, white flag is out, and the Stoneley car there looking super smooth. Really a driver that has come of age the last year. If you look, this is his second year in youth mini stocks, and has just got so much better.
And Smart goes around in turn 4 there, giving it absolutely everything, and just a bit too much. 1 or 2% too many, and so the win goes to Jordan Lee Paratone. He is the Canterbury Youth Mini Stock Champion for 2018, and a very honourable second place, you have to say, to Ben Smart.
Oh, Ben Smart drove brilliantly, and I guess a little bit of track experience helped there.
Josh Bolton in the 891, Trevor Elliott in the 27. They've been fast all night. This track, yeah, a bit slippery, and it was getting that way towards the end of their last heat. They know Woodford Glen well though. They know exactly what to expect, exactly how to set their cars up for this. It will be an interesting battle. Don't forget, we're back here again tomorrow night for second night of Battle of the Stocks, brought to us by Suck It Up, Battle of the Stocks 25. And of course we're back again in 2 weeks' time for our Easter show and modified invasion with a 6 o'clock start for that. So here we go. Josh Bolton on the inside, gets the wiggle on, forces Trevor Elliott to the outside and wide. And I think quite rightly, I may view the referees have put the lights on and said there wasn't a fair start. I think Josh just anticipating the green a little bit there, got his foot down, and the car wiggled too much for that to really be a fair contest. So the yellows are on. We'll do another lap under yellow and try again.
To be fair, my pick on it, and I'm sure we'll get to see a replay after this, but Josh perhaps moving up on the track and then gassing it was the bit that rattled Trevor a little bit. Here we go there. Josh just moves up. You can see he just moved about probably a metre or so up and gave it the gas, and by then Trev was at a disadvantage.
So they're down by the back straight, past the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand, into Enviro Waste now. Brian has the green raised. The lights are still off, they're green. We're racing. Josh on the inside, gets the run on Trevor Elliott. He's going to make his way into turn 1 first, but Elliott's got the outside line and there's a bit more pace out there, we know that. Elliott comes back at him out of turn 2. Josh Bolton just in front as they go down the back straight. There's nothing between them into turn 3. Through turn 4 they go. Josh tight on the pole line. Trevor drifts it out wide to the wall, and it looks like that was a bit of a mistake because Josh has got a car length on him now. Josh very careful, tiptoes through 1 and 2. Trevor Elliott gunning it round the outside line, but the grip is just not there now. So Josh Bolton's got his nose in front. Could this be a Canterbury Super Saloon Championship for him? He goes across the start-finish line now. He's got about 4 or 5 car lengths over the 27 of Trevor Elliott. I can't see Elliott doing anything here, not on this track, not with it skatey and slippery as it is. Struggling out of turn 2 to get some grip there. Josh Bolton just needs to bring it home. Coming out of turn 4 now, down the front straight. White flag, wave this time round. Trevor Elliott's dropped even further behind. I can't see anything changing here unless Josh makes a mistake. He's too canny a racer for that. That 891 car is wickedly fast, not on this surface, nothing's fast on this surface, but boy oh boy, does he make it stick to those turns, takes the checkered flag, takes the win, takes the Canterbury Super Saloon title.
Yeah, beautiful drive there. Once Trev committed to that high line, that was fine through 1 and 2, carried the speed down the back straight, but when he went looking for the drive, he had to get too far out coming out of 4, and it literally cost him any chance of getting bolted. But hey, both cars still in one piece, no damage to the fiberglass. Go back into the trailer, bring them back out tomorrow.
That's right, they're racing again tomorrow night. So thanks everyone for coming along to watch the first night of the Battle of the Stocks. I know everybody here has thoroughly enjoyed it up at the commentary team. We hope you have out there too. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. And if you're watching on the stream, the same that channel.